Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans, welcome to Talking in Ovals. How's everybody doing out there on this Monday, June 16th, 2025, episode number 145?
Ooh.
What's up, my man?
He's back. Mr. Brazier is back.
He's back. Grand Slam is dead.
Diamond Brazier, man. Hey, Diamond Brazier, and he's smart running these small meets, running a 144, coming back, and then just ran a 143. Remember, he was the American record holder until Hopple last year. So, I mean, he's only 28. His only issue has been injury. He is a freak talent. He is so good. I'm just excited that he's healthy with him, Hoey. You got Kessler. You got Hopple. It's
the track is going to be hot for American 800. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be a factor as long as he stays healthy. That is the big thing, his health. It's an exciting time right now. We are ending championship season really for everyone around the country in terms of high school, college, and things like that. Nationals are coming up, and we have that with all the three nationals. We have USATFs coming the end of July. So it is going to be.
And we have a brand new American record holder in the 5K, Nico Young.
Yes, we do. Well, it's an outdoor American record holder. He doesn't have the overall time because Grant got the overall time indoor, but he's the outdoor American. Congrats to Nico. Nico's
he is transitioning from college to the pro very well.
He is. He's doing fantastic. And it's just a fun and weird time in track now. Like it is where people are slowly starting to transition into taking their break periods, getting ready for XC. Some of the sprinters and throwers are maybe going to get their lifting on to go play football or whatever they do the fall as well, if they're not XC people. So this is a very much a limbo time.
Very weird time because there's so much excitement, but yet we've had so many meets that have been canceled. So it's
so many meets canceled, and there's like that little lull before USATFs when everyone kind of like comes cracking again. So
Diamond League has been cranking though. Diamond League's been great.
Diamond League's been great, but
I don't know if I love the Diamond League. I don't know really care about the 300-meter hurdle record. I mean, it was cool that all three of them were in the race, but I just can't get in the 300 hurdles.
You know what though? But like Carson Warholm's doing a great thing and getting all these records, but he got exposed in the 400 hurdles. Like he ran well, but Rye became king again, right? You add those last three hurdles, and Rye Benjamin is just king. So it's like
last year,
so it's like you see that, and we'll get into more of that and all that stuff. But wherever you're watching from, we appreciate it, whether it is Facebook, X, or YouTube. I'm thinking, David, potentially adding getting rid of our Facebooks and maybe adding some other the places there. So we'll talk in the future.
Yeah.
To kind of expand out and get our personal Facebooks the hell out of here. Even though we love everyone that watches on them, but go watch on our Talking in Ovals channel instead.
Agreed.
Go follow us there if you haven't already. But wherever you're watching from, we appreciate that. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, 5 stars is the only form that you are allowed to do it, or we will take you down like Grand Slam went down. And I'm just going to keep making jokes. I hope Grand Slam comes back strong, but the jokes are deserved right now. You can't even finish a season. Dave, I'm not going to lie. Do I need to ring the bell that Alex was right a little bit on this? Do I need to do that?
I'm gonna wait and see how it all pans out over next year. But as of now,
of course, we're gonna wait for the end of this year, and then but now I gotta wait. Dave, who knows if they'll be back next year? And if they,
I know. Listen, it's upsetting because I loved the format, I loved the competition, and it's just damn it, track.
I don't blame track. I blame the way they went about it was wrong, but that's a whole other podcast. We'll talk about that another time. But we're back on a regular schedule. This still feels like a whirlwind. This is 4 episodes in 8 days that we've done. I started on Sunday, then we did Monday, Thursday. We're back here on Monday. We're going to be back to our regular schedule of every Monday so we can stop. It's going to feel empty for a little while now. It's going to be funny that it's going to be fully empty for like a week, but we're excited. This past Thursday, we talked to the studs, Clemmy Lilly and Reese Malone, senior and junior over at Rumson Fairhaven. Sweet young ladies, very talented, very blunt. I loved how blunt they were. And
honest,
definitely go back and give it a listen. I had a great time talking to them, doing great things at Rumson Fairhaven. And I feel like they're one of those programs that even though Clemmy is leaving, we're going to see them reloading not revamping. So I'm fully excited.
That's what great coaching does.
Yes, 100%. But speaking of great coaching, look at you in the transition, Dave. Let's bring on our guest today. He is Philip Redrick. He is the head coach over at Pratt Community College over in Kansas. What's going on, Coach?
Nothing much. How y'all doing?
Good. Well. Appreciate
Thanks
you
for having me.
Of course. Absolutely. And we're having fun. We talked a little beforehand. I'm definitely pumped about dipping my toe into talking a little more in the JuCo scene. We had on Jason Resch not too long ago, talking in like the D3 scene over in Jersey for college. And it's interesting because as much as, it's different, right? Doing there.
Still running.
We try to convince and we try to get to the athletes here. Even if you're in JuCo, it's a job, y'all. Like, you better get there and be dedicated.
Better be ready to go.
The proof is in the pudding because, Coach, I did a fun little experiment not too long ago. Maybe I'll pull it up in a little bit. But I went and looked at nationals from last year.
Yeah.
And I looked at the results from D1, D2, D3, NAIA, and JuCo. And how many JuCo stars bumped right into the top 10, top 5.
Especially in the sprints.
And they're freshmen and sophomores. So people are salivating at these major programs. So I'm pumped to talk to you about all that type of stuff. But first things first, we're going to ask you the same question that we ask all of our guests because we love to start off talking about you, talking about your journey. And I hope you're not too humble because you are a beast in your own right, man.
Yes, he was.
First question for you. When did you get the spark to become a runner? Not necessarily when you first raced or first did it, but when did it click like, okay, this is something I want to pursue beyond just doing it as a sport for fun?
Funny because my family always gets together in the summertime. We always race every time. It's a big family thing. I had cousins that were seniors in high school, and I was a 6th grader in elementary school. And we raced every summer, and they beat me every summer. And I'm like, I'm gonna beat y'all one day. And so we got on the street. The whole family's watching. And I'm in 6th grade versus my 2 senior cousins, Jay Gambrell and Robin. I got to the line and beat them both. And they both were superstars in football.
There you go.
Love it. I beat them both. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm him. I can do this. I can do this.
6th grade.
So did you do other sports as well? Or did track kind of encapsulate you? Like, what else did you do when you were playing?
I played football. I played football in high school, but track was always the first love. It's my love, passion.
So you're a Texas boy, right? Like we talk a little, you're a Texas boy, and we know Texas football is dead serious. But Texas track and field's no joke. So is it kind of one of those things where if you're not playing ball, but you're running track, there's still a high amount of respect there? It's like, okay, you may not be playing ball, but you're running track. So like, are they still cool with that? Because I know
they're still cool with it. But my high school coach was actually mad at me the whole summer because I knew 7-on-7. I was always in AAU summer track and stuff. He got mad at me, but I'm like, I'm the fastest kid in AAU. What are you mad about?
See, here's where I like these football coaches at times they'd be like they're getting faster by running track. Like there should be more of a marriage between the football program and the track team at every school.
Oh yeah, it should be.
I'll defend the football coaches though. I need you there on 7-on-7 because I need your hips to start to get that swivel before we get those pads on. Okay, we need those hips to get loose. That's what 7-on-7s are for. But I mean,
I'm getting faster.
I'm a football coach. I played ball and I ran track, so I understand it all. I understand. I go with Dave and I speak for the football coaches. Whenever they get bashed by the track coaches, I speak for the football coaches. So I try to help them out. But that's awesome that it was that young. So did you have a middle school program when you got there? Because I know some places don't necessarily have programs. They're not really serious programs. Did you have a middle school program to jump right into?
Yes, you had a middle school program. And actually in elementary, we actually had a 6th grade program as well. Like all the schools race each other, and it's called cluster. And we race each other in 6th grade. Then we go into middle school, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, which we have a middle school program. And then we have a high school program from 9th to 12th. With my middle school coach actually followed me from high school, from junior high to high school. So he was following me my whole career.
Smart guy.
Always good. That's helpful. That is helpful when you have that one consistent message, one consistent voice. So you were a sprinter, right? You ran, we saw you're a hella fast 200-meter runner, 100. Did you dabble with the 4?
So 400 is a real man sport, a real man race. So me, I'm a diva. I'm a sprinter. Sprinters are divas. You know that. We're divas. So I probably would have been a better 400 runner if I actually done it, but I didn't because I was scared of it. So 200 was my baby. But no, I never did the 400. I false started on purpose one time. Don't tell my athletes that though.
Well, I mean, it looks like some of them may be listening, so you're gonna have some explaining to do come the next practice, coach.
Wait, so coach never said 4x4. Get
I did 4x4s. My coach made me do 4x4s. I did that for sure.
As he should.
I was a team player. So he called me 4x4. I can do it, no problem. But open, yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
So when you were splitting like 51 and 50 and maybe some 49s in there, because you were 21, 22, how fast were you in high school? What was your PR in high school?
21-1 in high school.
Oh yeah, you were a 50-second guy jogging. Well, no.
Yeah.
He maybe wasn't trying to go that fast. Well, no, he wasn't trying to run that fast, so we didn't get to go put in the open.
Exactly. Dog the first one to sprint the last one in high school way.
Oh yeah.
I love it. So
easy 300 and then run the last one.
You think you're doing something, but you're not.
All the things you're coaching your athletes not to do.
Not to do, exactly.
Because we all learn from our own experiences, then we pass that along to our athletes.
Yes, sir. That's true. 100%.
So looking back at it, obviously you started running at a young age. You did cluster, you did middle school and everything. And AAU, which is something I always think is cool. We had a few guests that were, stud AAU runners. Dave, you were a really good AAU runner. You did that type of stuff. You went to, junior nats and things like that.
Just not in the sprints.
Yeah, no, you were a mid-distance runner and distance runner. Longer. So what were some of your favorite memories starting all the way back from 6th grade and all the way through? Because you were a professional runner as well. What were some of your favorite memories of running from that time and then all the way through your professional running career?
Memories is basically the camaraderie with your teammates, hanging out with them, going to track meets, staying overnight. The overnight meets were really good when you're younger because that's fun. It's like 10 in a hotel room because we didn't have enough money for getting individual hotel rooms, so we stayed 5, 6 in a room. But we had a great time. We didn't care about money. We just had a great time and running. And those are some great memories we have with my friends like Cordero Gray. He ran for USA as well on the NEAC team and under 20 team and all that good stuff. We've been friends since we were in high school, and we grew up and went pro together. And so I remember those days were great times. College is honestly going to nationals at HBCU was really hard to do, and I did that. And so being one of the only HBCU schools in nationals was pretty dope and pretty cool. Because I see Texas, my dream school is Texas. I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm a diehard Longhorn fan. And so I get to race against them. I get to beat them, beat TCU, beat these other top programs. And it was great racing against those programs. And then pro, just going overseas, living your dream that you dream of going professional. I used to play the game all day and go practice. That's all I did for like 3 or 4 years. Just play the game and go practice and go run overseas. And it was great time.
Oh, there's nothing better than going to those stadiums over in Europe where the crowd is there. That's got to be just an awesome feeling.
So, yeah, they treat you like royalty over there when you're overseas.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So one question I have, and I didn't really ask many of the sprinters this, because I know from a distance runner's perspective, Dave and I were both, mid-distance, long-distance guys. We're a cult. Like, we do everything together, okay? Like, we're run together. We're all best friends or whatever. We're sprinters. It always looks like, yeah, you guys are tight, but there's always a little more edge there, right? You're lining up. You're trying, like you are for, 10, 11 seconds as fast as you can, trying to beat each other all out. And it's like the training seems to be like there's a lot of competition there. Was there like a healthy level of competition there where, yeah, we're homies, but I'm going to kick your ass every time we race type of thing?
Yeah, there's nothing like a professional camp with 10 egotistic short sprinters from different countries. It's amazing. Like the trash talk at practice is actually, you couldn't even imagine. It's craziness. But it's fun. It's fun. We're going at each other's necks for 10 seconds. We're going to hate each other for the next 10 seconds. But after that, we're back friends again. Cool. But I tell you, by the time I wasted my grandma for the next 10 seconds, I'm going to beat her. That's just the way it is.
Listen.
Sorry, Granny.
And we bring some of that trash talk to the actual competition because I am tired of all these robots crossing the line and then turn and go. Like they just turn on like the soldier. Like Dave, me and Dave disagree with this. I a little more trash talk. I like a little more like when you go across, have a signature pose, right? If you win, like you should, like the Christian Coleman and the 18-year-old yelling in Christian Coleman's face this weekend. I am down with that.
I don't mind that.
One of the best sprinters in the world, man. Like that's awesome.
The only thing I don't like is like the whole Noah thing, like coming out before the race, like. But no, listen, I love all those guys talking trash, like and I love that it's gone up to the 1500 with Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr.
Oh yeah, I love those two talking. Yeah,
you got long jumpers talking. It is cool. I just like to see. I just feel like at times Noah loses some like he doesn't respect the other athletes as much.
Why should he?
As he should.
Until you beat him, why should you? Until they beat you, no.
but even when he loses, he's not respectful. You know, like he blames like, he talks about himself. Like, no, like give the other people their flowers, man.
So from you being an elite sprinter, how do you feel? Oh, go ahead, tell your story. I want to hear it.
So crazy story. Tyrone Edgar, he's a sprint coach at TCU. So my first year pro was his last year pro, and we were in Saskatchewan, Canada. I didn't know who he was, but he knew my coach. He knew my coach at first, and he's like, "Hey, rookie, what's up, man? Eat some cheese today so I can beat you at the track." I was like, "Who is this dude talking to me?" Like, because I talk trash back. I don't back down from anybody. Sure. He's talking trash. We get to the track. He's wiping stuff in my lane. It's just funny stuff. He's trying to get in my head. It's great stuff.
I love it, man.
I love that.
That's like that. I don't mind. Yeah.
So how do you feel about Noah's antics? Are you one of the ones that hates on it, or are you okay with it? How do you feel about it?
I love Noah doing it. He's bringing people to track and field. He's bringing that's his brand. It's his brand. I don't think he acts like that all the time. But that's his brand. He's putting out there to the world, and I feel like it's working for him. Everybody can't be like that. Kenny's not like that. Kenny's a quiet dude. That's the way he is. If you look at my videos from YouTube and all that, I was the same way. I was acting a fool before the race starts. I'm screaming "Showtime!" I'm jumping up in the air. I'm just trying to get in your head before you run because we're all fast that day. And if I'm in your head, I'm going to beat you, and that's the way I tried to get into my competition's head.
Do you think that? Do you think it's a problem that none of the other athletes who race against Noah like him? Like I feel like there's a respect for them amongst each other, but with Noah, I just feel like they just don't respect him or.
They think he's corny. Put it that way. They think he's corny.
Well, he is.
But I just think it's just part of his facade. That's the way he's doing it. I don't think he's really like corny. I think he's doing that for the show. My opinion. But it's funny to me. I like it. I love it, honestly.
So how do you feel about Tyreek running that 10.15? Like I see a bunch of track fans like poo-pooing it, but I mean, for a dude that don't really train for it, go out run a 10.15 saying he wants to do all the Olympic trials. Like if I'm USATF, you're going to let dudes run in 10 flat in the trials. If he gets to 10.0 something, you let him in for the clout. Because
you gotta let him in. You gotta let him in if he gets to 10.0. If he gets the qualifying standard, you gotta let him in.
Yeah. I would love to see him racing there too, because I think that'll be fun. Just put him and Noah on the line. You know what? Here's the thing. He's running the same time as some of the best sprinters in the world are still running right now. Up in that 10, you see people tipping under 10 now. Like that's the thing. There's the progression. Early season, it's the 10.1s, 10.2s.
Let's see him get in a race with someone who's good.
I agree.
There's a big difference. And then he gotta run rounds as well. So can he run rounds? I don't think he can run rounds.
That's true.
He's not good enough to run rounds. One race and he's done.
I want to see it. I think he brings eyes to the sport.
It'll bring eyeballs. That is certain. So
yes, it will bring eyeballs. That's good for the sport.
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting. And, I think you have some great memories. But speaking of memories, I know for me personally, and I think Dave, I'm the wrong way. Dave will say this as well. Even though we had individual success, there ain't nothing like being a coach and watching your athletes do their thing. So
yes, nothing like it.
You are the head coach over at Pratt Community College. And for people that don't know, the community colleges compete in the junior college, division. And so that is only freshman and sophomore, right? There are no juniors and seniors in that division?
Nope. No, sir, not at all.
So that's a massive difference. So when you're coaching these athletes, is it with the mentality of trying to get them looks at these other schools as well as competing nationally and all that type of stuff?
So the way I go about that is we're going to give them looks at big time schools. That's my goal. So we go to the big time meets. We go to Texas relays. We go to TSU relays. We went to Mount Sac one time as well. My job is to get them to the next level. And so when a little JuCo comes into the big time programs and beats them, we get a lot of acknowledgement. So last year we did the same thing. We had the number 4x1 team in the nation, 39-5, and all 4 freshmen on it. We beat U of H that day. We beat some of the top schools, and they were like, okay. And from that group alone, we had 20 kids go to Division I from that group alone. And so that's the goal, to get my kids looks, develop them, get them ready for the rigors of D1 track, D2 track, or D3 NAIA, wherever they want to go. But most of the kids go D1 or NAIA D2.
Now, do you have to have a different mind frame coaching in junior college because you only have freshmen and sophomore? Like it's only like a 2-year trajectories rather than, so you get in a kid as a freshman, you have to kind of escalate everything quicker rather than you would if like he was there 4 years, maybe even 5 years, so that they can get to their max, so they can get on to those other schools. Do you have to have a different mind frame?
I have a different mind frame at the beginning when I first started coaching at Fort Scott. It was a brand new program, so I was on developmental. I was getting kids that was 11-1, 10-9s, and I had to develop them. So I had a 2-year plan for those kids. It was always a 2-year plan. The first year, if you do good, is because you just naturally that good. Second year is that you're gonna blow up, and so that's the way the plan. It always works from then till now. It's still the same way. And so the first year they get used to. I basically re-roboting them, basically doing everything over again, teaching them form, technique, how to run this race indoors is big and new to them because most of them from Texas and they don't know that. Yeah. And so got to rewire them how to do stuff the right way. And then we get to next year. Sophomore year is the year you should blow up. But if you blow up the freshman year, you have a great sophomore year. And so it's just steps we do. First year is me developing, getting used to it. And sophomore year is when you go head on into it.
So you ran JuCo as well, right? When you first came out.
So I did, yes,
how did that experience help you now translate as a coach? Because it seems like you had a good experience. You were able to go D1 after JuCo. So how did that help you now becoming a JuCo coach and how you're going to strategize for your athletes?
It helped me 100%. I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for junior college, I would never made it to where I'm at right now. You never heard of Philip Redrick. You never heard of anything about me. It's just because I needed to develop first, not because I wasn't fast enough. It's because I needed to develop on the track, off the track, and mentally. It was just I was fast enough to go D1. Yes, everybody knows that, but I wasn't mentally ready for the Division I of school. 500 kids in the classroom, classwork, missing school most of the week. I had to get used to that first in a smaller scale, and it'll help me.
Nice.
I love how you brought it up because I asked you. So, like, are there different levels to just being on a team and competing from D1 to JuCo? I'm not talking about in terms of how fast the kids run, but just the actual lifestyle and the way that you have to live being at one of those schools, as opposed to, do your kids live on campus or do they commute?
They're on campus. Most of the JuCos in Kansas are all of them are actually on campus schools. Most of the California schools are not on campus. You have to get your own housing, but Kansas schools, most of JuCos in the Midwest are all on campus. And so it's just a big difference. It's a big difference from D1 to JuCo. JuCo has no really big meal plans, no nutrition, no trainers that can help them with this track. You know, it's a lot of stuff you don't have at junior college. You have at Division I programs. So most of my kids get it from the trenches. I call it out trenches all the time. We're in the trenches. Once they get out here, they get to go to the big time schools and they get to live their life and the dream go. And that's what I strive for.
So that's awesome, man.
We hear, a lot of JuCo when it comes to like college football and like college basketball, where these kids, like Cam Newton's a famous one, right? He went JuCo first.
Randy Moss
took the world by storm. Randy Moss.
Tyreek
Hill, exactly. So do you find that you get a lot of those individuals who maybe are sitting there and they got offers, but they're like, these aren't the offers that I wanted to get. And then they opt to go that JuCo route to try and build themselves up. And are they upfront with you about that? Are they like, Coach, this is what I had. This is where I want to be. Can you help me get there type of stuff?
So, like I said, I'm a new school coach. I'm a young coach. So I'm a new school coach. So when I came in junior college, I had to figure out how I'm going to beat the Barton counties of the world, the Cloud counties, the Iowa Centrals, Iowa Westerns, South Plains of the world. How can I beat them when I can't get international athletes? And so I had to figure out how can I beat them. And I was like, why can't I not get D1 athletes to come to JuCo? They have D1 grades. That makes sense. D1 grades. They're mid-major athletes. Sure. Why can't I not get them? They said you can, but we don't. They won't come JuCo. I said, why won't they come JuCo? We just don't recruit them. I said, well, I'm going to recruit them, and I'm going to get them to come to JuCo, and I'm going to do it my way. And so what I've done for the last 5 years is get D1 eligible athletes to come JuCo, to bet on themselves. They might have a time, say 54 girl. I had a 54 girl. To go SEC, you got to go 51. So she can go any D1 school she wanted to. She had offers from Mississippi State and these other schools, but she chose Fort Scott over all those D1 schools because she wanted to get better and better herself down the road. Same with all the other athletes I had at top schools. Like Josiah Taylor, he ran a 10-1 for me last year. He's at Texas Tech now, just signed with Texas Tech. He had D1 offers and he bet on himself and came to Fort Scott for 2 years, and now he's at D1 living a big dream. So I'm like, bet on yourself for 2 years, 1 or 2 years, depending on what you want to do. Get better, get developed, and get used to Division I track. And that's my goal, and that's what I try to do for my athletes. And most D1 schools love JuCo athletes because they know they've been battle tested. They've been through the rigors of class work. They can pass classes, and they know they can make it through anything if they make it out of JuCo.
The maturity level's got to be different completely.
Oh, yes.
If you're a high school senior, and you don't know, you're better off going JuCo because it gets you in the college mentality and it gets you training like a college athlete. And then if you run well there, you can almost pick anywhere that you want to go. So it kind of puts the onus back on the athlete. Like you said, bet on yourself,
and bet on yourself every single time.
And
that's my recruiting pitch.
You know,
do you have a recruiting budget over there? Because I know it's very different school to school. Even at the D1 level, every school has a different recruiting budget and all the levels. Do you have a recruiting budget where you are that you're able to go out and like, obviously there's no scholarships involved, but just for you to be able to travel, to go to meets, to go watch these athletes compete, do you have anything there for you, or is this all you going to do it on your own?
So we do have scholarships for JuCo. We do have scholarships.
Okay, did not know that.
We actually have 30 scholarships per gender.
Wow.
Okay, so I didn't know that. So everyone listen up. There are scholarships. So again, D3 doesn't have scholarships. JuCo has scholarships. I'm not trying to throw shade either way. Just throwing that out there.
There's 20. We have 20 track scholarships and then 10 cross country scholarships. So 30 total if you know how to work it per gender. We have a recruiting budget. When I was at Fort Scott, we had a small recruiting budget, but I drove the roads. 20-hour drives, 18-hour drives, 10-hour drives, go recruit kids because I was a brand new coach and it was a brand new program. So I had to build some interest up. And that's why I got us the #1 program in the nation in sprints, because I did the hard work. I drove hours and hours and hours that most coaches won't do, most people won't do, but I did it. And without assistant coaches, I did it. My last year I had no assistant coach at all. I did it all myself. And so it was crazy work. We have a budget. I bring kids in. We can't fly them in, but some of them drive in. We pay for their gas, we pay for the hotel room and that stuff, and so on and so on.
I love that. The dedication, the hard work, and the kids definitely, kids aren't dumb. They appreciate that, right? When you're saying you're over here and you drove 20 hours from Kansas over to somewhere in the Midwest, right? Yeah. And you're there and it's like, I came to see you. Where from? Oh, I'm in Kansas. Oh, yes, you drove? Yes. I want to see you compete. That leaves absolutely right there. That is a big thing. It's like, oh, I was thinking of going to that mid-major in school in my state. Maybe I'll look at Pratt. What is he? Oh, like, so have you found that your connections also have helped you in order to recruit athletes? Because saying like, hey, I'm a pro. I know the sprints coach at TCU. I know this person who was a pro is now working here. Does that also help to get these athletes coming in, knowing you have a pipeline?
So I tell my athletes all the time, clout chase a little bit. I have a little clout. I have a little bit of clout. So I tell them chase it a little bit. I know a lot of people from big time Division I schools. Have Alabama come on campus, Texas Tech, all these top schools come on campus. Awesome. It helps a little bit to get you recruited. And then my professional career and my college career helps me as well. I know a lot of these coaches, they recruited me. So I tell them that all the time they're old. Like, y'all recruited me and now I'm coaching against y'all. So they're getting up there in age. But no, it's all fun. But yeah, I tell them to clout chase a little bit. It helps my connections. And as my first year at JuCo, I didn't get that many athletes. They was like, who is you? Who are you? You haven't proved yourself yet. And then I proved myself year after year. And now it's just like I open my emails or open my DMs, and there's people wanting to come just off the rip.
Listen, high school kids now are smarter than ever, and they have all this information. They know who the coaches are that they want to go for. Like, well, be it for those coaches even call them, and it's kind of a problem now because at the D1 level you have so many coaches leaving and kids are leaving schools because they only wanted to go for that certain coach. So coaches' names are definitely known, and what you did at your other junior college definitely holds incredible merit because you had so many people that were performing at such a high level that attracts kids. They want to go where it's hot and where they can run fast.
And believe me, we're all about cloud chasing too. We have Coach Redrick on this podcast. All right. Like, we are chasing that cloud as well. Like, no, we love talking track and everything. So with the new rules have come down with roster limits. How is that hurting or helping you? Is it a little bit of both? Like, what are the new rules about the roster limits doing for you in your program?
So it should help junior colleges, honestly. This year alone, I've had over 30 emails from D1 athletes wanting to come down to junior college level. Yeah. And so that's the most I ever had at any time in my career. That's the most I ever had. It's because of the new rules. When the coaches came talk to me about it, when they come recruit my athletes, they told me about they have to cut like half of their roster now because of the size of the rosters now. Crazy. And so they have to go somewhere. And so why not JuCo? Bet on yourself again, get re-recruited, just like you're in high school, get re-recruited, and then go back to that school or go to a bigger school that you wanted to go to.
No, it's definitely going to help the smaller level schools. They're going to be able to get athletes that they couldn't probably in the past. I know, especially on the distance side, like there's a lot of kids who just can't go to these schools anymore because they just don't have space.
Yeah. So a lot of recruiting. I mean, D1, D2, D3, and NI is going to get a big load of athletes as well.
Do you have set standards for your athletes to come on for your program? Because I know that's become a huge talk now, is the different standards and how hard it is. Again, because of these roster limits,
Mhm.
I mean, the standards are astronomical for a lot of the major programs and even some of the
Mhm.
smaller programs. They're asking for kids like they're like mid D1s, they're decent, and they're asking for, milers at 410.
Yep.
200 guys at 22 and below. And it's like these are state champion level things. And that's
Yeah.
all these programs are looking for. So for you, as obviously an incredibly successful JUCO, do you have a set of standards that your athletes need to hit before being considered?
So when I first got the job, it was each year the standards get faster and faster as we get better and better. When I first got the Fort Scott, it was like 12.5 for a lady, 12.7 for a lady, 10.9 for a guy. And when I left Fort Scott, it was like 10.5 for a guy. You got to be on 10.5 because on our roster we had 7 guys go 10.5 or faster. So what can you fit on our roster when you've got 7 guys on our roster? We had 6 guys go 46 or 47. So you got to be 48 guy at high school for me to even look at you now. And so back at Pratt now, the standards are a little bit higher because it's a brand new program. I mean, I'm my first year there. The roster is not as big as it was when I was at Fort Scott. So now the standards are like 49, 12.5 for girls, back to where it was at first at Fort Scott. But I go with the time, depending on what school I'm at.
So being at 2 different junior colleges, is there a difference within the junior colleges themselves? Like, and also, do you get kids that are usually just essentially located in Kansas, or do you get kids from all over the country to come into Pratt?
So go for the kids from all over the country, basically from when it comes with kids recruiting. It's hard to get Kansas kids to come to Kansas schools, honestly. That's a hard thing to do, honestly. I can get a Texas kid that runs a 10.7 to come to Pratt Community College, but I can't get 11.1 guy to come from Kansas to come to Pratt. So it's crazy. When it comes to JUCOs, it's the difference, like say Florida versus UTA. It's a big difference when it comes to JUCOs versus other ones. And so Pratt is like probably a UTA. And you have South Plains or these big time schools, Iowa Western. These are like Florida, the Texas of the world. They get the talent. They got good coaches and they got the facilities and they can win. And so it's a big difference. The Joes and the haves and have-nots. And so that's why I built Fort Scott up from doing it, basically developing. I just said I'm not coach everybody, and that's what I did at Fort Scott. That's what I had to do that way.
So where was Fort Scott? Where was Fort Scott located?
It's in Fort Scott, Kansas. It's about an hour from Kansas City, Kansas. About 30 minutes from the Oklahoma border.
Oh, so you're staying in Kansas too, because Pratt's right over there too, right?
Yeah, Pratt's over there. Yeah, I guess I have to stay in Kansas, I guess.
I mean, but that's good. You have your name in the state and things like that. And so where do you find yourself typically finding your recruits? You go all around the country because like you said, it's hard to stay in Kansas. So where have you found the most success statewide to come over to Pratt and things like that?
So I'm a Texas kid, like I said. So DFW area probably supplies my 80% of the roster on wherever I'm at. And then Houston, obviously. Then I have got kids from Florida, Las Vegas, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. So I'll go all over, but most of my kids come from Texas and from the South, Georgia, South states.
We'll start funneling kids that we know down to you. We'll be sending some kids down to you. We'll at least be having them send you an email.
If you are
I'll respond back.
If you are a sprint coach, Texas is not a bad place to get your athletes from.
No, it's not bad at all. Because you have the ranked 400 athlete in Texas be like the number 1 in Kansas, and you get that kid.
Right.
So with your program, you have your sprints. You go up to the 800. Do you go higher than that on your program? Do you go with the throws, jumps? What encompasses your program?
So I tried when I first got the program, I had a distance coach named Jafet Malinares. He's the distance coach at Hutchinson Community College now. He got the head coaching job after he left Fort Scott. We won a championship together. We won our first regional championship together. He's one of the best distance coaches you ever meet. So when I had him, it was love because I had my best distance coach with me. After he left me, I just went straight jumps and sprints and throws. So I was like, I'm gonna try to win with just those and cut cross out distance, because distance is very heavy in JUCO, and there's a lot of international kids that good luck trying to beat those kids.
Yeah, I mean, you have some of those programs that could compete against the NAUs and
yes,
because they have all these international guys coming in that are just.
And it's not even fair when it comes to internationals in there. A little older than our kids. Most of my kids are 18, 19 years old. You get a kid coming out 26, 28, 30. It's not really fair to junior college athletes, but
are most of the international athletes, they're mostly distance runners, right?
Yeah. You still got a lot of sprinters as well, but distance heavy for sure.
So What you're saying is we need to get you a distance coach over at Pratt. We need to make you a full let's get you a distance coach. So anyone listening that wants to go down to the Kansas area and
Or
coach with
keep
one of the best
sprints
coaches,
or keep sprints and just get those scholarships out to just faster spinners.
Yeah, get it. Make sure you get 1, 2, and 3 at nationals, right? 1, 2, and 3.
There you go. That's what you're looking for, right?
Pretty damn good.
So you talk about obviously you had incredible success over at Fort Scott. You built that
Mhm.
program and now you're over at Pratt. What made you want to come over to Pratt and start a new challenge for yourself? Because you obviously established yourself there, one of the better programs around, and now you're coming in, you have a
Mhm.
new challenge for yourself. What lured you over to Pratt and what has
Uh,
that been like taking on this new challenge?
was when your Lord, we got a new AD, and we didn't see eye to eye at Fort Scott.
It
And
happens.
so out of nowhere, they let me go out of nowhere. The winners coaching history out of nowhere. So that was a shock to the whole program and to me. Like one day I was there, and the next day I was gone, and everybody couldn't believe it. The kids came to Fort Scott for me, not because Fort Scott is a powerhouse, and it came there for a reason. And so that happened, and after I went to convention that next day because I got fired the day before the convention. So that's even crazy.
Wow, right before
Coach
the
convention.
convention. That's the
Yeah,
funnest thing. That's what you look forward to as a coach. You go hang out and rub some
that's
elbows.
that's the
Yeah.
best time, right?
Yeah, you got some fun.
and, and
Well,
nobody could believe that. Yeah, nobody could
their
believe what
loss.
happened. And
It is
yeah,
their loss,
exactly.
and it is Pratt's gain for certain.
Yes, and Pratt called me and said, "Hey, you want to come?" I said, "You already got a head coach." He said, "Don't worry about that. We bring you over anyways." I said, "Okay." Okay.
So, do you still see a lot of your former athletes? Because obviously you're both in Kansas, so you got to go to
So
similar meets. You still
they're in our
see.
region. They're in our conference. So
Oh
it's
wow, they're in your conference.
So he
Oh
sees them
man.
often, yes.
so it's
Oh
weird
man.
because at the track meets, it's kind of crazy. All the athletes come talk to me like I'm still their coach, and
Yeah.
I'm me. I love my athletes, so I'm always gonna talk to them all the time and help them
100%.
out. And it was kind of weird. Probably for the new coach, it's probably weird for him because he was like, "These are my athletes now," but I was like, "They're not been with me for 2 years." So it was kind of bad for him, but they always came to me at every track meet and talked to me all the time, the whole day.
And it's not
Now,
necessarily his fault either. Like he just
Yeah.
took the job and things like that. So,
did
and
you
he'll
have
establish
any
himself and stuff.
did, did you have any kids follow you over?
So I had 2 kids follow me over because so what happens is JuCo has a rule that if you run a meet in December, you can't run in the next semester. So D1 you can do that, but JuCo you can't. And so Pratt ran a track meet in December, so you had to sit out an indoor season. So most of the kids didn't want to sit out the indoor season. So only 2 people came with me. Tavares Duckett, which is the number one American sprinter in America right now from JuCo. And then I have Izzy. He came over as well as a foreigner running 47 for me from
Woof.
50 point in high school. He ran 50 point, then he ran 47 for me this year. And
That,
so, Tavares Ducker ran 10:19 as well this year.
wow.
Woo.
That's so good, man. That's awesome to hear. I love hearing all that stuff. So you get over to Pratt, like you said. Obviously, it helps when you have some individuals come with you, right?
Yeah.
Because that starts to, they already know your culture. They already know what
Mhm.
you're trying to do. So now when you come over there, they're the ones already establishing that
Mhm.
culture. And obviously, they're sophomores. So they're
Sure.
establishing that leadership as the veterans there, right? Um,
Yes.
what is your strategy and what is your goal when you're coming in and looking at the program, evaluating the athletes already there and trying to figure out, how to bring your culture there? How do you go about that as a coach?
So for me, it was the first time ever doing that. So it was very hard for me at first. I just got there and sat back and watched for like a whole 3 or 4 weeks. I didn't say anything. I just watched what they did because we had another coach named Q and another coach named Dre. They was already there, and so I just watched what they did. And for a couple weeks, I was getting angry. I was like, "Okay, we gotta fix some stuff. We gotta change some stuff. It's not the culture that I want and we need." And then they said, "Take over, Philip." They told me after indoor season, they said, "We take over everything." And so I said, "Thank you." And so I took over. And structure, we had more structure. We had to be no do rags, no bonnets, no Crocs, no flip flops at practice. Be on time when you're rolling. It just got to be disciplined as an athlete. You got to be disciplined. That's the first thing. You got to be disciplined no matter what you do. You got to eat right. That's discipline. You got to sleep. That's discipline. You got to go to class. That's discipline. So discipline is in everything you do in life. That's how you become champions, by discipline. And so I have to install that work. The standard is my number one motto. The standard is the standard. I don't go down to your standard. You come up to my standard
I love that.
at all times. And so that's the number one model for me. My standard is my standard. And I'm going to push you every day so you can know that standard is meant to be. And so
So
that's yes, sir.
have you noticed how you've had that high school kid who might have had, a pretty easy time in high school just because they are naturally fast, and then
Mm-hmm.
they get to you and they're like, "This is dumb. I can't do this." And then like 2 years later, they're like, "Coach, thank you for everything. That was the best thing." Like it just takes some time to adapt because we know, like you said earlier, sprinters are, in high school, you can get by sprints if you're really fast
Natural
with
talent.
with
Yep.
not having to just put in all the work. Now, some of the sprinters work harder than anybody, but some are just like, you can be.
And we could be honest. Most of the sprinters in the high school level don't work that damn hard.
Yeah,
They are
they're lazy.
naturally talented unless they see the light at the end of the tunnel and they know they're about to go big or they're going to win a state championship. That's when they want to work. I'm sorry. I love my sprinters. I love coaching them.
You're not wrong. I was the same way. I was the same exact way. I didn't work hard at all in high school.
When I tell them, I'm like, all right, go do a 10-minute run. A 10-minute what? Yes, go do a 10-minute easy run. Lift your feet up more than a walk for me, please. Like, go do one of those soccer player jogs. That's all I want from you. Like, it's
no, but you have found a shift. Like freshmen come in, like, I don't have to work hard. I'm this good. But then when they start that, so I'm sure you have some kids that might not make it. Right?
Yes, sir.
You know,
I have sometimes. That hurts me the most when I have kids that I can't save everybody. I have to learn as a young coach. I can't save everybody. I try to save every single person, but I can't do it at the end of the day. So some people do fail. That does happen. But majority of the time, they do make it through and go to the next level.
I love it.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, too, it's like athletes, kids, people crave structure, right? We hate uncertainty. Uncertainty is one of the worst things, gets us in trouble, makes us do dumb stuff. So when you're able to provide that structure, especially as a coach, and if athletes maybe didn't have it, right? And a lot of times, like you said, with your own situation, you weren't mature enough, you weren't ready enough to go to the Division I level when you were out of high school, even though you were talented, good enough. And that's something that you noticed in yourself and you got that structure, right? And you became a grown man in 2 years to be able to come and go and be the athlete you were supposed to be. So it's great that you provide that structure, not only on the track, but also in the classroom and as an adult, as a life, right? Like, and the best coaches I ever had, including the man next to me, was one of my coaches for a few years, not only made me into a better athlete, but made me into a better person. And those are the people the ones that I remember the most are the ones that were teaching me life lessons more than just having me do things on the track or on the football field. So and also, I love hearing that from you.
And, like once you get these kids in, because a lot of them probably don't know anything about nutrition or even lifting or all these things, and then you teach them that and they see these big gains and jumps, like that's when they just buy in. You just have to get them to that point of where they were in high school, their mentality to know this is Coach Redrick now we really just got to go, but once you get them there, I'm sure your kids are locked in and fully committed and would do anything for you and that program.
Yeah, so that's one thing about when I go to track meets, coaches be like, man, your kids will die for you, because I show them tough love, but I give them love as well. I'm really a softie, but I scare them with my looks and stuff. I fake when you scare them, I'm really a softie, but I have a standard though. I have a standard that you have to meet. And so I'm hard on them every single day of practice, but they love it because I'm hard on them. I have kids go to D1. I had 95 athletes go to D1 since I've been a coach now. 95 athletes.
Incredible.
And all of them call me back and say, Coach, I still want you to yell at me sometimes, Coach. I need you to yell at me. And they call me back, and and it just feels good that they still call me back and say they miss that kind of stuff.
No, but I mean, and I love how like you don't allow Crocs or like certain things. Like, we're going to go to this meet and we are here to compete. We're not here to bring 8 different pairs of shoes. You got your trainers and your spikes. Let's go.
Yes, we're here to win, and that's it.
I love the coaches that say it's a business trip and mean it, right? It is a business trip. We're going on. We got to do our jobs, and we're going to do it. We're going to represent what's on our jersey, what's on our singlet with pride. And, and the bottom line is, and I think, from doing team sports, sometimes you get that mentality, like you were a football player and stuff. Like, what was one of the coaches' things that they always said? You're not representing yourself. You got a helmet on. You're representing that name across your jersey. Exactly. And I think it's a little different in track because it's a little more of an individual sport. But if you can instill that in the track athletes, that you're not just representing yourself, that name on your singlet is what you are representing. You're representing me, your family, your coach, like not necessarily in that order, but that's what you're representing. And if you can get that through your athletes, which you obviously do, it shows out. And I think it's important and I think we need to have more JuCo coaches on, because I think it's important that people hear what you guys do, because some of these D1 athletes, these pros, these amazing athletes that we're seeing aren't possible without the JuCo level. You guys are doing a service to these major programs and probably making the jobs of these Division I coaches easier with the roster levels, because it's like, okay, I can go to the transfer portal, sure, but maybe I can go get these JuCo kids that are still semi-raw because they just figured out how to truly train. Great coaches down there are turning them into young men and women that know how to be coached up now, and my job's easy. Like, I love what you guys do. It is.
Yeah, listen, it's
so good.
It would be like like getting someone out of the G League rather than right out of high school. They
Yeah.
already know what they are prepared for that level of competition. They've been playing against grown men, like they're not racing against their local high school county where they're winning by, 3 seconds in a 200, like these kids are learning. And I'm sure things that you instill in them, they use all through their D1, and if they make it pro, hey, I'm still doing the same things that I learned from Coach Roderick, because they went to JuCo and they grew as human beings in that 2-year period, and they were so much more prepared to go to that next level as they would have been right out of high school. Some of them probably wouldn't even make it out of high school because they might not be mature enough. But spending 2 years at your program gets them in a better mindset, and they are ready, and they're just more of an adult.
Yes, sir. I
I'm
literally got a
excited. Go
DM.
ahead,
I
Coach.
literally got DM yesterday from Father's Day. An athlete, one of my first athletes I recruited at Fort Scott. He was like, "Thank you, Coach, for showing me what a father should be." Because I had my son with me when I was first got to Fort Scott. He was with
Happy
me,
Father's
living
Day.
with me. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
And he was with me every day at practice and all that. He saw that. He was like, "Man, I watch how you treat your son and all that, and I'm doing that with my son. I really respect you for that." And that was a good message he sent me. And so, shout out to him, Jordan.
And you know what? And that might meant just as much to you for teaching that person about, like life and how to be
Yes.
a good person, just as much as if someone said, "Hey, Coach, thank you for training me to run this fast."
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm excited that, what is it? We're at 2025 right now. In
Mhm.
2028, when Coach Redrick is sending us a DM going, "Hey, I'm heading to LA with one of my athletes." He made it, he went to a D1 school, but he requested me come to LA because he's running the Olympics. I'm waiting for that, because I think
Oh,
what
it's
you're
fine.
doing, it's bound to happen. You're going to have an athlete that eventually goes to that big D1 and then will, sit there and come in and will become an Olympian. So I love that. So Coach Torchia coming in with the message right here. And he is a coach over at Christian Brothers Academy in New Jersey, which one of the best schools in New Jersey
Okay.
history, period. He asked, how big is your program and do you make cuts?
I don't cut anybody. You may not travel, but I won't cut anybody. So I treat my program just like a D1 program. We have the A, B, C, and D groups. So my A group would travel at almost every big meet. B group would travel most meets. C and D group know you have to get to the traveling squad, which is A and B. And I'll let you know that every single week what group you're in, up and down. My biggest team I ever had was 5 people. We had at Fort Scott.
Wow.
And so we can get that big, or we can get as little as 15 we had this year at Pratt. And so it just depends on the scale. This year I'm trying to get over 60 athletes at Pratt. And so that's the goal. But there's no limit for our roster. But
A
we
lot
only
of
have 60 scholarships though. But there's
There's
no limit.
D1 programs that don't get to that big. Like, that is
No.
awesome, just to have enough individuals. So
Sure.
is Pratt dedicated to you as a coach in terms of, if you're successful, maybe getting you better facilities, giving you the ability to go to bigger meets, things like that? Is that something that they talk to you about, if you could bring the program up to a higher level? Because, again, I don't know that much about the JUCO world and what these schools are willing to do. We know about the major programs and even some of the mid majors that actually hurt in that situation. I feel like some of the
Mhm.
lower D1s
Sure.
hurt. Like, I went to Marist. We are just getting a track built
Oh,
this year. And we
yeah.
have, good runners, fast runners, but we are just getting a track. There's a ton of programs around the nation that are like us that don't have a track, or they're
Yeah.
getting cut, which is
Yeah.
also a massive problem. So, what is it like for you at Pratt in terms of where they are to you in the program and what, they're willing to do to help you?
So, like I said, when I was in December, when they called me, it was between them and a Division II school that offered me the job as well. And I chose JUCO over D2 because they told me, because they said I was going to let me do what I've been doing at Fort Scott, going to the big meets, doing this and that. But they already had a brand new track built last year, so it helps. I didn't have a track at Fort Scott. We had no track whatsoever at Fort Scott. And so we had a brand new track there. They have a good weight room. Everything's nice there. The facilities are way better than what I was at the previous school. And so the facilities are upgraded. Brand new track. We got everything we need. And honestly, we need have every implement we need, equipment we need as well.
I love that. I think that's great. And I think that that's huge in terms of a value, obviously, with recruiting, right? Because
Yeah.
when you could sit there and go, yeah, you can go to that D1 school and they maybe have okay facilities, or you can come to us and get state of the art stuff, a brand new
Mhm.
track, and a
Yeah.
coach with a proven track record. So
Absolutely.
I think that's
Yeah.
great. So, you being a young coach yourself,
Mhm.
obviously in 5 years, you've learned a lot. You've been a head coach, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
What made you want to become a coach? Was this something you always wanted to do, or was it something that the opportunity presented itself and you just needed to jump on it, type of thing?
a funny story. I never wanted to be a coach in my life. Never wanted to be a coach.
None of
Never.
us do. We just fall into it.
Just fall into it. I wanted to be Olympic gold medalist. That was my goal, right? I thought I knew what God wanted me to do, but he said, no, I have other plans for you. And so I was actually running professional track. Actually took some ligaments in my ankle. They said I would never walk or run ever again.
Wow.
So funny story is I got back from recovery. I started running and again. Then the show called me called Next Olympic Hopeful. I got put on a bobsled. I won that show. Got put on a bobsled in Lake Placid, New York, and I did 2 years of bobsled. So that's kind of crazy story. But
wait.
And so
So you did bobsled for 2 years?
Yes, sir. In Lake Placid.
Were you hanging out with Lolo Jones?
Oh, Lola was there. I think she was one of her last year. She was there. I saw her in the training camp, training facilities, and all that. So yeah, she was there.
So did you see a lot of your former peers or things like that? Because that seems like something they do. They try to poach a lot of fast sprinters that maybe are like, not necessarily.
Bo Jackson did it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so do you see a lot of people that you have competed to throughout your career, like just they're now jumping into the sled?
Yeah, they're jumping into it. I saw at least 4 or 5 guys that did it. That I saw running. I saw a kid that ran 9.9 do it as well. And so Quentin Butler, he's one of my friends. We trained together. He was pro. He did it as well. So it's crazy.
How much does speed play bobsled?
It's honestly, I was the brakeman, so I was in the very back, and it plays a lot. Starting, pushing is basically you got to get the sled moving. It's like 800 to 1,000 pounds. You got to get it moving. And so you pushing off a block pedal, which I always push off block pedals, right? And so I push it off and I get going. And so the speed really matters.
And the other thing, how damn scary is it?
I was going to ask, how terrifying is that going down? Because you guys are flying.
So I say all the time, you have to be kind of crazy in the head to do bobsled. You have to be a little off, just a little bit, because you're going down a hill in ice with 80, 90 miles per hour with no seatbelt, and you're the brakeman. So I'm pulling the brake for it to stop. If I don't pull it, we crash. And so, yeah. So my first year,
did you ever crash in your career?
I did crash in Salt Lake. Crashed. My helmet had a big hole in it because I was right on my head for like maybe 30, 40 meters down the track. Yeah, it was crazy.
So
that is crazy.
Let me ask about that brake real quick, because obviously it's not like a regular like air brake on a car. You probably have to be strong.
You gotta
pull and hold that.
Yeah, you gotta pull and hold it. Yeah, you gotta pull and hold it. So it's crazy.
Why did you want to torture yourself like that?
Why not?
So like I said, I'm a competitor. I want to compete in anything, and he give me a chance to compete in anything. Hacky sack, mopping floors. I'm trying to be the best at anything I do in life. I'm trying to be the best at everything I do. And so you say, Philip, you want to do bobsled? Sure, why not? Why not? I get to compete with somebody again, so it's fun stuff.
I mean, so any chance we see you in the skeleton?
I couldn't do that one. No. I tried it. Not for me.
That is amazing. So, real quick, we have a few more questions right here. I love it. So, Asher Reezy asking, what level D1, D2, D3 Olympics, etc. do most track athletes at Pratt end up at the prime of their career?
So, like I said, my other school scholars was there for 5 years, 4.5 years. They go D1. Like I said, 95 All-American, 95 athletes go D1 in the last 4 years. I had 36 go D2 and 12 go NAIA. But I promote every level. Every level is great. So
yeah,
yes, we're the same way here, 100%.
I always tell kids, like, there is great coaching anywhere. Find a coach that you gel with. That'll mean way more than the size of the actual school. Find someone that you can work with and that gets you, and that's so much more important than going to D1, 2, or 3.
We also have a friend of yours jumping in saying, hey, I know that guy, Sheldon Richardson. What's going on?
So shout out to Sheldon. Story about Sheldon. He's a great kid, by the way. He's a walk-on in my program from Florida. He saw me develop a kid from 51.6 to 46.9, and he's at Mississippi State now. His name is Kendrick Turner. He saw me develop that kid. And he's like, Coach, I want to walk on in your program and see, can you develop me and get me to the next level? And he just signed with Arkansas State this year, so he's going off to them to be there next year. And so he ran 47, 10.4, 10.3, 20 point. And so he developed and got into the Division I school that he wanted to go to. So,
hell yeah, Sheldon.
Back up to Asher Reezy right there. Proof is in the pudding with Sheldon right here about what you can get if you have an athlete, or if you're an athlete yourself thinking about what level and you're potentially thinking Pratt is an option. send coach an email, send coach a DM, because he could turn. If you're a 51, 52nd guy, I'm telling you right now, D1 schools probably aren't looking at you if you're that right there. You got to be 48's too slow right now. It's wild.
It's
with some of these big programs. Like you got to be 47 at a minimum so you can look at you and talk to you. So
yeah. So then go to Pratt if you're running 50, 51, get down to 47 and then go.
There you go.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
I got you. That's perfect leapfrog there. And here's the thing too. I was amazed when I was doing my research, and I did it at indoor too. So it's a little bit different when I looked it up. And to see the times that the JuCo athletes, the champions are running, and obviously sometimes there's a drop off, right? Yeah. You'll get your top 5 that are running but there's no joke in being a JuCo champion. You are running real times in the JuCo championship and the relays. The JuCo relay people, you want to talk about they are competing against Florida, Arkansas, LSU. It's so fun to watch him shuffled in there. And I mean, it's so good. So Sheldon also coming in saying, great coach, father, and guy. And there's no bigger compliments than when your athletes, acknowledge all those things. So Sheldon, thanks for watching. We appreciate it, man. Hopefully you come and watch the rest of them, not just for coach. Like, share, follow, subscribe, damn it. But always promoting, right? Always got to do a little self-promotion. Coach.
Always got to.
So, with you as a young coach, are you willing to take other young coaches that maybe want to come and learn how to be a coach under your wing, to learn from you and maybe volunteer underneath you?
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to help everybody get to the next level. I had a coach come to me at Nationals last year. He came to me and said, "Coach, you need a Doze coach?" I said, "Yeah." That's how the interview went. That's exactly how the interview went. Come on. And so he became my throws coach. Jafet Malinares, when he was actually an older coach. He's younger than me, but he's been coaching for more years. Gotcha. I had an interview with him at the bar. We just had a drink, and he got hired, and he became one of the best distant coaches in the nation. So I mean, that's the way I am. I'm just laid back guy. I'm real with it. All my athletes and my coaches. Tell me who you really are, and then I'll let you know if we can work with that.
Well, listen, I never understood if you're going to be a track coach, why you would have to go into an interview wearing a suit and tie. Just have it on the actual track and just talk shop.
Let's talk track. Let's talk real life stuff. That's basically what track is. Track is life. And so if you can get through track, you can get through life. So I tell my athletes.
It would be, one of those things where if I was coaching, I'd be like, show up in sweats. I have here's 3 scenarios, 3 different athletes. Give me a workout for each. And there we go. We can talk. So Darren Peters over here. We always love when Darren's on.
That's the best.
He says, hi, Coach Redrick. Please share about the relationships and how you contact NCAA coaches on behalf of the athletes under your care. Share the strategies of how your athletes get to the next level. So do you have any inside baseball there?
So I make so I'm like I said, I'm not a lazy coach. I work for my athletes all the time. It's all about them all the time. So every summer I make a sophomore list with each athlete, name, number, email, picture of them, the PRs in each event. And then I send it out to every coach I know. Every summer, every August I send out to every coach I know. And then I keep sending out to more coaches that keep asking for the information. And then also I call coaches I tell every athlete, give me 3 schools that you want to go to. And I'll tell you, if you tell me those 3 schools and your time's not there yet, I'll be like, we're not there yet. There's probably some other schools. But if you are there, I'm like, okay, I'm going to call those coaches. I probably know them personally. And so like I said, cloud trade. So that's what I do with my athletes. And so I got every summer, I make a list and I send them out to every coach in America.
I think that also goes to show about your passion for what you do and your athletes, right? That's what all coaches should be doing, but it's above and beyond what most coaches do. And it's especially if you have that, massive roster that you had over, at Fort Scott and stuff like that, you're up all night, multiple nights, right?
Oh yeah.
Putting these together and making sure. And again, it's the dedication, and athletes know when a coach cares. Athletes can tell when a coach is there for you and not for themselves.
They also know when a coach is just blowing smoke. All right, coach. Sure, coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, and I could tell that you're a passionate guy. I could tell you love the sport.
Absolutely.
And it obviously seems like it's your goal to give back. And I think, again, it's your JuCo experience that makes you want to give back to these JuCo athletes and set them up in a great way. And, like I said, I'm happy. And any other, I think just more for being an athlete, if you're finishing your collegiate career and you're not going to go pro and you're in the Kansas area and you're thinking of coaching or want to dabble your toe and you're near Pratt, obviously Coach Redrick's a great guy to go under and to go learn and to go figure out how to do things the right way, because he's a young man and a young coach, but he has a ton of experience and obviously does things the right way.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. Love it so much.
I mean, obviously, I've never coached in college, but I would imagine the more that you reach out to these coaches and you send them athletes that are up to their caliber, the more they're going to want to reach out to you too. Like it goes both ways. So I'm sure, you do that spreadsheet every year, but I'm sure as you get more established and you're sending kids to these D1 programs who are performing on a D1 level, coach will be, hey, I'm going to go back to that guy from Pratt. I'm going to go back to Coach Rao because he sends guys that are ready to go.
So it's crazy story. So I'm still a fan of track. I'm always a fan, and so I'm a fan of great coaching. And so I'm not like, oh, I'm better than coach, this and that. No. So Coach Rob at Texas Tech, right? He's spring coach at Texas Tech. He called me out of nowhere. I'm like, I'm mind blown. My mind is blown because I know who he is. And I'm like, this is one of the best spring coaches in the entire nation, Coach Rob at Texas Tech. And then I have Coach Blaine Wiley at Alabama come to my campus. I'm like, I'm starstruck. I'm like, dude, you know who you are? You come to see me at Fort Sky? You crazy. And then I had Coach Flo email me at Texas. I mean, like I said, I'm a diehard Texas fan. Coach Flo is one of the best coaches in the entire nation. Sure, he emailed me, and I'm like, I'm still a fan. I'm like, this is crazy to me sometimes. So I still even get starstruck.
Of course. And I can imagine the respect that they have for you and what you're doing at the JuCo level, and the fact that, again, you are, that you are meant to be the farm system, right? Like, obviously, like that is your job and your goal to make sure that these young men and women become young men and women and are able to, not only be athletic enough to get into these programs, but to also be successful for these programs in terms of being students and leaders. And because you're coming in as a junior, you're meant to be a leader. You got to buy into the program, be a leader at that program and produce, right? Like if you're coming in as a junior, we want you scoring at conference. We want you scratching at nationals or getting in there. Like that's the standard when you're getting into these programs. And it's fantastic that you're able to provide that. And real quick, we have Dallin coming in saying, whoa, I know this guy. I'd imagine he's another one of your athletes.
Yeah, another one of those athletes that developed into a Division I athlete. Dalin's he's from Alabama. He went to Alabama State, ran a 10-3, 10-2 for me as well. He came as a 10-9 guy, ran 10-2. So if you come get coached by me, you get developed. That's the goal. Get developed.
Shout out to Sheldon for following. We appreciate that. Dallin, go please follow suit. Follow us. Go give us a like and everything on and a follow over on YouTube as well. And a shout out to Mike Cunningham, jumping right in saying,
Mike,
good dude, have fun tonight. Mike, we had him on the show. We went on to his show. Mike's fantastic. His passion for the sport is so freaking good.
Great guy.
Oh my God, he's such a good dude. So great for the sport. So lastly, what are your goals? Obviously, your goal is to make Pratt as good as it could be. Do you have any other larger aspiring goals? Obviously Pratt is where you are. You want to make this as good as possible. Do you want to become the greatest JuCo coach of all time and to be the known as, the most successful JuCo program that provides these amazing athletes? What's Coach Redrick's goal here?
My goal, just like my JuCo athletes, they want to get to the next level. So do I. I want to be the best coach ever in history. Like I said, that's just who I am. Everything I do in life, I want to be the best. And so I think I am one of the best coaches right now. I think I'm one of the best recruiters in the nation. I think I'm one of the best with just what I have. So one day I do want to go to the next level, Division I, if that's a chance, and that's the ultimate goal. But right now I'm in JuCo, so my goal is still to develop athletes to get to the next level. But when the time comes and somebody calls me, I'm ready to go D1 and show that I'm the best spring coach in the nation.
See what is great.
Love that.
About that is that you would, like, when you do make it to the level, because I don't doubt that with your passion and your knowledge and the results that you have that you're gonna get there, you'll have an advantage because you will be fully immersed into the JuCo. Hey, get me this guy, Exactly. And you might be able to get two kids on a half scholarship from JuCo rather than paying one. So there's all ways to do it, but you're gonna have such a vast knowledge because you have been at that level, so you know what it takes and how hard-nosed and how ready that these kids are to just prove who they are. Because I don't care what it is, I'm sure some of these kids come to you with a chip on their shoulder, like how come I'm not going there or here, and you as a coach can harness that and to turn it into what you are doing and have these kids go to that and say, hey, coach, remember when you didn't take me 2 years ago? How about now?
Yeah, exactly. It happened to me, honestly. When I was in high school, coach said, I'm not good enough, so I went to JuCo. And then he wanted me at a JuCo, and I said, nah, you said I wasn't good enough. And then I went to regionals and beat his athlete and went to nationals over his athlete. So I thought that was amazing.
I mean, track is the best for that though, because it is mano a mano, and
Let's go.
it's one of
Me
the
versus you. Yes.
it's one of the few original sports. Can you run faster? Can you lift more? Can you beat me in a fight? Those are like the
Yes.
3 original sports of life. Track is one of them, baby.
Track is,
So,
yep.
I mean, that's it. So, coach, we're gonna end off with this question, and I feel like you're gonna give us a fun answer because you're a very thoughtful guy. Obviously, you're a fan of the sport. We ask a lot of our guests
Mhm.
what we could do for the sport of track and field. If you had a magic wand and you can just have something happen, what would you change about our sport that would make it more attractive to the casual fan, that would get our pros paid the way they're supposed to be, so that we can be that sport that we know it could be, that we
Mhm.
love, that more people can come see it and it can be more profitable?
So just like the conference is doing in Division One, like football, we need a TV contract. Like with ESPN, ABC, CBS, TV contract where you know every Saturday it's gonna be a track meet on that day, and you know what time it's gonna be, and you know where it's gonna be at, and so they know when to tune in, watch it every single week, and that's why I think we need TV contracts, to be honest with you, and then that means more money goes to the athletes that run because you have a bigger TV contract, you have more sponsors, that means they get more money, and so it trickles down to everybody.
Yeah, because as of
Great
now,
idea.
we
Yeah.
talk that often. Everything is behind a paywall, Flow
Yeah,
Track or Peacock or Runner
yeah,
Space.
which is
So it
insane.
would
Yeah,
be nice to have. And I'll tell you what, ESPN does very good coverage of the college meet.
Yep.
They just
yeah,
don't have enough college meets on. Now you'll see it sometimes,
exactly.
on the Big Ten Network or the SC, but
SEC
not
network.
everybody
Yeah.
has those channels. Like if you put it on ESPN, even ESPN2 is fine, or ESPN News, just have it like you said. All right, I'm gonna watch, like everybody knows pretty much the Yankees are playing at 7 o'clock
Yep.
weekdays. Like have a set time where they're playing, and advertise this athlete's going to be there. This
Yeah.
athlete's going to be there. And those athletes have to show up though.
Yeah. And so like every week, it's a big meet every week in college. So you can say Texas relays will be on TV today. Then Mount Sac relays will be on TV that Saturday. And then this Saturday will be Kansas relays, stuff like that.
And
And
relays,
Florida relays. Yeah, Penn relays, Florida relays, stuff like that. And like the New Balance meets, it's gonna be on TV. So we know to watch it. And so I think that'd be big for the sport.
You know what, too? Because I think that if you do get bigger viewership on the college level, it could certainly translate
Oh yeah.
to,
Absolutely.
because
Start. Yeah.
they're going to want to watch these athletes that they've watched in college run at that next level. That's why I'm a
Mhm.
little bummed about Grand Slam, because I really thought that we were going to get something in our country to kind of fill that void, but
Boy, yeah.
we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
I feel like we should push for one final meet after NCAA's and just call it the True College Championship, and just take the top 8 in every event from each of the divisions.
Yeah.
JuCo,
Oh, right.
NAIA, D3, D2, D1, just let them go.
Yes, let them go. The JuCo national champion won the 200 meters in D1 this year.
Yeah.
Did you know
Yes.
that? So
I did know
So
that.
every year
I
it's a
saw
D1
that.
champion. Then last year was a former hurler, Chris Robertson, run for Bama. He was a JUCO national champion in South Plains. So every year some JUCO kid winning the national championship in Division One. So it's crazy.
100%. 100%. So, Coach, it was fun having you on, man. We
Thanks for
appreciate it.
having me.
Once again, he is Coach Philip Redrick. He is the head track and field coach over at Pratt Community College. And again, if any prospective athletes, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. His athletes are over here commenting. They obviously respect him a ton. Thank you for everyone in the chat. We appreciate it. Dallin, you followed us as well. We appreciate that. We truly do. And
thank you, Coach Torchia, for the nice comment.
Coach Torchia coming in, Darren always coming in with some good stuff. And any prospective athletes out there that are watching right now, we said it again and we'll say it
every week.
Consider JuCo. Consider JuCo, consider NAIA, consider D3, consider D2, and obviously D1. But there's a reason why there's 5 different levels, right? There's a fit for everybody. And
Everyone.
if
each level is getting better and better because of those roster limits, you're getting more and more top, you're getting your 420 kids at NAIA now, or your 415 kids,
And I was educated on something tonight. If you don't want to pay and you're D1 level and you want to get a scholarship, go JuCo. Go major JuCo.
I still have a couple of scholarships left over.
There you go. Go a major JuCo program. Pratt, obviously with Coach Redrick right there, is about to be on the rise. He's about to get them. There's one of the best schools in the nation. I got 100% confidence in that. But absolutely consider JuCo. Go get some money. Go run fast. Go learn from a great coach, and get into that culture.
And
everyone.
And any high school kid, just because you're running 51 now does not mean that that's what you're going to run. Like these kids don't realize how much that they mature and physically grow and get stronger from just high school to college. It's crazy. To becoming a adult helps you so much in your athletics. So if you have a coach like you getting everything out of him, I think this is like, I'm so glad that we had you on, because it's such a great perspective, and hopefully this will give every high school kid out there, like, you can go wherever you want. There's coaches everywhere. So
and college kids that might be facing that roster cut.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go to Coach Redrick.
Kids too. Yes. Go to Coach Redrick and definitely go there. We appreciate you.
Fast.
Go get fast. Yes.
Go
And
fast.
if you want to go find Coach over on X, Instagram, Facebook at King Redrick, it's pretty simple to remember. And if you want to go find us, just go search for us everywhere at Talking in Novels. We appreciate everybody that watched, everybody that commented today, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or X. If you're listening to this later via podcast form, thank you as well. Make sure you like, share, follow, subscribe, give us a good rating, all of that good stuff. We love when we have a live chat. So thank you again for that.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week. We're not coming back in the middle of the week this time. So do not look for us in the middle of the week. We will not be here. Maybe Dave and I will convince ourselves to come talk about Grand Slam. Maybe. But we will be back again next week. I don't know. We love talking track. But we'll be back on Monday. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. So long, y'all.